Chocolate. It's one of the world's most beloved treats. Whether it's a bar, a truffle, or a hot drink, chocolate has captured the hearts and taste buds of people across the globe. But have you ever wondered about the incredible journey that transforms a humble cacao bean into the delightful confection we all know and love? Today, we're going on an exciting adventure. We'll travel from the tropical forests where cacao trees grow, all the way to the high-tech factories where your favorite chocolate bars are made. Before we start, let me ask you a question. Are you ready? Feastable or Hershey? Leave your comments down below. Let's get it started. Sit back, relax, grab a Feastable, and let's uncover the sweet secrets behind this tasty treat. Chapter 1. Cacao Cultivation. Our journey begins here, in the heart of a cacao plantation. Cacao trees are quite picky about where they grow. They thrive in a narrow band around the equator, about 20 degrees north and south. This region is often called the Cacao Belt. The main cacao growing regions include 1. West Africa, like Côte d'Ivoire and Ghana. 2. Central and South America, such as Brazil and Ecuador. 3. Southeast Asia, particularly Indonesia. These areas provide the perfect conditions for cacao trees: warm temperatures, high humidity, and plenty of rainfall. Now let's take a closer look at the cacao tree itself. These trees are pretty special. They can live for up to 100 years, but they usually produce fruit for about 25–30 years. The scientific name for the cacao tree is Theobroma cacao. Theobroma actually means food of the gods in Greek. Pretty fitting, don't you think? The most important part of the cacao tree, at least for us chocolate lovers, is the fruit. These large, colorful pods are where we get cacao beans. Each pod contains about 20 to 60 beans, surrounded by a sweet white pulp. Growing cacao trees isn't easy. It takes a lot of care and patience. Farmers plant the seeds in nurseries, where they grow into seedlings. After about 6 months, these young trees are transplanted to the plantation. But here's the catch. It takes about 3 to 5 years before a cacao tree starts producing pods. During this time, farmers need to make sure the trees get enough water and nutrients. They also have to protect them from pests and diseases. It's a labor of love, requiring constant attention and care. Once the trees start producing pods, farmers need to keep a close eye on them. The pods take about 5 to 6 months to ripen. Interestingly, cacao trees flower and fruit year-round, so farmers can harvest pods several times a year. Knowing when to harvest is crucial. Farmers look for changes in the pod's color. Depending on the variety, ripe pods can be yellow, orange, red, or purple. A perfectly ripe pod will also make a hollow sound when tapped. Chapter 2. Harvesting and Fermentation. Now comes the exciting part, harvest time. Harvesting cacao pods is still largely done by hand. It's a delicate process that requires skill and experience. Farmers use special cutting tools, often a machete or a long pole with a blade attached. They carefully cut the stem of the pod, making sure not to damage the tree. It's important not to cut the cushions where the pods grow, as new pods will grow from the same spot in the future. Once harvested, the pods are gathered and split open. This is usually done right there on the farm. Workers use machetes to carefully crack open the pods, revealing the beans inside. Inside each pod, you'll find 20 to 60 beans surrounded by a white, sweet pulp. At this stage, the beans don't smell or taste anything like chocolate. In fact, they're quite bitter. The beans and pulp are scooped out of the pods. The empty pod husks are often left in the plantation to decompose, returning nutrients to the soil. It's nature's way of recycling. Now we come to a crucial step in developing chocolate flavor: fermentation. The beans, still covered in their pulp, are placed in large wooden boxes, or sometimes piled in heaps on banana leaves. Over the next 5 to 7 days, something amazing happens. The pulp starts to break down, and natural yeasts and bacteria get to work. This process is crucial for developing the complex flavors we associate with chocolate. During fermentation, the temperature of the bean pile can rise to about 50 degrees Celsius. The beans are turned regularly to ensure even fermentation. This process causes chemical changes inside the beans, developing precursors to chocolate flavor and reducing bitterness. Experienced workers monitor the fermentation process closely. They can tell how it's progressing by the smell, color, and temperature of the beans. It's as much an art as it is a science. Chapter 3. Drying and Transportation. After fermentation, the beans need to be dried. This step is crucial for stopping fermentation and reducing the moisture content of the beans, preparing them for storage and transport. There are several ways to dry cacao beans. 1. Sun drying. Beans are spread out on large platforms or mats in the sun. 2. Solar drying, using covered greenhouses to protect beans from rain. 3. Mechanical drying, used in areas with high humidity or frequent rainfall. The goal is to reduce the moisture content from about 60% to around 7%. During the drying process, which usually takes about 5 to 7 days, the beans are turned regularly. This ensures even drying and prevents mold growth. The color of the beans changes from purple to brown during this time. Quality control starts right here on the farm. Workers check the dried beans for any defects, removing any that are damaged, moldy, or underdeveloped. Once the beans are properly dried and sorted, they're packed into large jute or sisal bags. Each bag typically contains about 60 to 65 kilograms, 132 to 143 pounds, of beans. These bags are then ready for their journey to chocolate factories around the world. The journey of cacao beans from farm to factory is a global affair. It often involves multiple modes of transportation. 1. Trucks transport bags from farms to local collection points. 2. Larger trucks or trains then carry the beans to ports. 3. Ocean freighters ship the beans across seas and oceans. 4. Finally, more trucks or trains deliver the beans to chocolate factories. This complex supply chain connects cacao farmers in tropical countries with chocolate makers all over the world. It's a testament to the global nature of the chocolate industry and the incredible demand for this beloved treat. Chapter 4. Chocolate Processing in Factories, where beans become bars. Now, we've arrived at the final stage of our journey, the chocolate factory. This is where the magic happens, transforming those bitter cacao beans into the sweet, creamy chocolate we all love. As the beans arrive at the factory, they undergo a series of quality checks. Samples are taken to test for things like moisture content, bean size, and flavor profile. The first step in the factory is cleaning. The beans pass through a series of sieves, magnets, and air jets to remove any foreign objects like stones, metal pieces, or other debris. Next comes roasting, a crucial step in developing chocolate flavor. The beans are roasted at temperatures between 100 to 150 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the desired flavor profile. Roasting does several important things. 1. It reduces moisture further. 2. It loosens the shell from the nib, the inside of the bean. 3. It develops more complex flavors through various chemical reactions. 4. It reduces any remaining acidity and bitterness. After roasting, the beans have turned a deeper brown color and have developed that familiar chocolatey aroma we all love. The next step is called winnowing. This process cracks the roasted beans and separates the shells from the nibs. The shells are removed by a combination of sieving and air blowing. What's left are the cacao nibs, small chunks of pure cacao. These nibs contain about 50% cocoa butter and have an intense bitter chocolate flavor. Now we come to grinding. The nibs are ground into a thick paste called cocoa mass, or cocoa liquor. Despite its name, cocoa liquor doesn't contain any alcohol. It's just pure ground cacao. At this point, some of the cocoa mass might be pressed to extract cocoa butter. This leaves behind cocoa powder, which is used in various products. The extracted cocoa butter is often used later in the chocolate making process. To make chocolate as we know it, other ingredients are added to the cocoa mass. For dark chocolate, this usually means sugar and sometimes extra cocoa butter. For milk chocolate, dried milk powder is also added. Next comes conching, a process invented by Rudolf Lindt in 1879. This involves heating and mixing the chocolate for hours or even days. Conching does several important things. 1. It evenly distributes the cocoa butter. 2. It removes any remaining moisture and volatile acids. 3. It smooths out the texture of the chocolate. 4. It further develops the flavor. The result is smooth, glossy chocolate with a melt-in-your-mouth texture. The final crucial step before molding is tempering. This carefully controlled cooling and reheating process ensures that the cocoa butter crystallizes in a stable form. Proper tempering gives chocolate its signature snap and glossy appearance and helps it melt smoothly in your mouth. Finally, the tempered chocolate is poured into molds. These can be bar-shaped for chocolate bars or any number of shapes for various chocolate confections. The filled molds pass through a cooling tunnel where the chocolate sets. Once cooled, the chocolates are removed from the molds and ready for packaging. The finished chocolates are then wrapped and packaged, ready to be shipped to stores around the world. Conclusion, and there you have it. From a humble cacao bean growing in a tropical forest to this delicious bar of chocolate in my hand. It's an incredible journey that spans continents and requires the expertise of farmers, fermenters, traders, roasters, and chocolatiers. The next time you unwrap a chocolate bar, take a moment to appreciate the amazing process behind it. Think of the carefully tended cacao trees, the skilled farmers who harvested and fermented the beans, the long journey those beans took to reach the factory, and the precise processes that transformed them into chocolate. It's a testament to human ingenuity and our love for this incredible food. So go ahead, break off a piece of chocolate, let it melt on your tongue, and savor not just the flavor, but the remarkable story in every bite. From all of us here, thanks for joining us on this sweet journey. Until next time, keep enjoying the wonderful world of chocolate.